The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's get right to it. It says, hey Perch. Hey Perch. Hey. Okay. Hey. I'm curious about your take on who is more to blame for the state of comics, the corporation or the worker. From listening to your videos, it sounds like you mostly blame the corporation or the publisher, but I notice a lot of people on message boards, who are talking about message boards? Are there message boards anymore? It feels like a very 2005 kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, people on the message boards say you're always a corporation defender. Please explain. Please explain. Okay. I don't know. What's the easiest way to say everybody sucks? That's probably the best explanation I can give you. Who's to blame? It's for what? You know, everyone in some form or fashion. Look, I think the publishers treat the workers by and large like crap. I think they take advantage of the freelancer kind of loophole in how how they work. I think that they keep people in a state of fear. I mean, I did the video, and to what the letter writer is referring to, I was pretty kind of not blown away, just annoyed. The people who kind of blatantly misinterpret things, I'm like, I don't have time for it anymore. But it is in that video, I was talking about this comics broke me. And the assessment I'm giving is like one of the things that is broken about comics is that the people who work for the corporations or the freelancers basically, they are kept, fairly intentionally in a state of fear. So if you are not getting paid on time, you are basically told, don't complain, because if you complain or if you complain too loudly or in the wrong way, then you're going to get blacklisted from the industry. And I shared a couple of examples of that. I think that's hard. That's completely wrong. Now, obviously, the workers, the freelancers should try and resolve these differences respectfully and, not fly off the handle. And the best way to resolve I'm not being paid disputes is, through email or on the phone to your editor or the publisher, and not through Twitter. Okay, saying you shouldn't go on Twitter and go, where the fuck's my check? Like that is not the appropriate place to air your financial grievances against a publisher. But that doesn't mean you should air no grievances. It means you should, you deserve to get paid. And I think the corporations absolutely, for sure, definitely, no doubt about it, generate this feeling of if I complain, I will get in trouble. And they do that for a very simple reason. And that reason is to shut you up so you won't complain. And this is not a new thing in comics. It's a very kind of old habit in comics. It's a way that the corporations and the publishers manipulate people. And it's wrong. I mean, what is there a different way to say that? It was actually quite clear in the other video. I'm not sure how that was misinterpreted, but it's wrong. Corporations shouldn't do that. It is lousy to make people feel like they are, under threat if they complain, if they, have any issues, particularly when it's about things like their paycheck. That's ridiculous. Now, the common sense truth of it, the Perch dad advice, if you will, is just me being, let me give you the advice your dad should give you, is when you enter the workforce, if you haven't yet, or if you already have and you don't know this lesson, you need to understand corporations are wired this way. It is not a issue of right or wrong. It's not an issue of, should the corporation be this way? They shouldn't. It is wrong. But you also need to not be a sucker. Meaning, when you're going out to do a deal, protect yourself, get a contract, read the terms, investigate what's going on, know how much your book is selling, pay attention to that, write it down, get that data. This is all very important information to steer your career. The thing you should absolutely not do is just trust the corporation or the publisher to just pay you on time, no problem. I'm always blown away, no matter what job you work in, when people will, get paid, basically get paid by the company and they never bother to kind of look to see if, their expense reports were paid, or, the money was properly deposited into the bank. I mean, I think I've given this tip many, many times before. If you have a 401k and you're investing into it, you should take a little peek every now and then and make sure that, the company is matching what they say they're going to match. They have an agreement with you to match your 401k. Are they doing that? I don't fucking know, but in many cases, they don't. So don't be a sucker, protect yourself. Now, if that's apologizing for a corporation, I mean, that's a very backward ass way of looking at it. But my point here is a lot of corporations are wired to do this to you. So if you're going to trust them to just be better, do the right thing, you're out of your mind. You need to be on top of that, constantly on top of that. You need to be watching and reading and looking at what's going into your bank account and paying attention. And the reality is, I think a lot of stuff that now, when I said like kind of everyone is at times at fault, yeah, the freelancers who choose to participate in this, and there's plenty who will, basically see a lot of bullshit going on and then choose to attack the fans instead, as opposed to the publisher. That's wrong. I think that perpetuates the entire existence. I do think that, for comics in general, and I'm not saying they need to all form a union, but the freelancers do have a bit of power in the sense that if there is at least some unity among the workers to say, hey, we're not going to take contracts that are, directly fucking our peers. That's probably a good idea to hold some kind of moral high ground. It's definitely a good idea for those freelancers to, have a side hustle, or, basically look for how quickly they can get out of the big two and do their own indie work where they control the money and all the rest. And I think if a freelancer never does any of those things and then complains, for like, this industry has mistreated me for the last 20 years, I feel bad for you being mistreated. You shouldn't have been mistreated. The corporations are wrong, full stop wrong, for mistreating you. But on some level, you should start to maybe pick a different career. I mean, like, again, not to hand wave it aside, but how often do you want to be screwed? Seriously, like, at some point, I would think you would get tired of that, and you should actually, maybe kind of stop it. I think in general with this kind of stuff, the truth, and again, this is the dad advice. Corporations, by their nature, look out for the corporation, not the worker. I'm not saying this isn't to apologize for them. I'm not saying it as an excuse. I'm saying it as reality. Corporations look out for corporations. That's what they do. That's how they're wired. And in many cases in our system, they kind of have to be wired that way. In a weird way, they kind of have to. The balance works well when the corporation is looking out for itself and the workers are looking out for themselves, and you get a happy medium between the two. Now, that doesn't excuse a publisher just blatantly torching people and stealing rights and doing a lot of other bullshit that they do. No excuses there. But go in eyes wide open. Go in assuming that is kind of in their DNA, it's in their nature, and react accordingly. Don't go in going, well, I'm sure everything will be fine, and if it's not fine, I will complain on Twitter. That's being dumb for you. So, if we're putting it in overly simplistic Twitter terms, yeah, publishers and corporations have the capacity for evil, and the worker, the freelancer, has a capacity for stupid. And, it's better if, the corporation is good and the worker's not dumb. Both things, would be nice. But don't be dumb. Don't be stupid. And, the publishers do dodgy shit all the time. Of course they do. So hopefully that answered your question. I don't know, other than there's a very small handful of people, they know who they are, who are for whatever reason have jealousy about this channel, and they make up shit And one of the things they make up is like, oh, Perch is always apologizing for the big two. I'm serious. If you listen to this channel on a regular basis and your takeaway is that I'm a big apologist for Marvel and DC, you are out of your fucking mind. So, for what it's worth, thanks for listening.